Charles Thomas Jr., CEO, Results Mentoring.
Results stands for reaching every student using love, training, and support. Now expanded to several states throughout the country, Charles Thomas Jr. has poured his heart into what has become a beacon for helping others.
Results Mentoring is it's a tutoring and mentoring company. We deal with everything educational, from ACT to SCT preparations, from after school tutoring to during school tutoring to before school tutoring. And we deal with a portion of the program is a boot camp program for dealing with troubled students, which is a very, very important niche for me, because I was a troubled student and I know how it feels to be just tagged and threw away. So that portion of our program is very dear to my heart. It's into reaching what people have tagged as the unreachable. What made me want to be a mentor was I was coaching Little League football for the Detroit Giants in Police Athletic League and Cal League. And after seeing the kids coming into the program and doing so well on the field, and it seemed like every other day I had a parent coming up trying to take them off the team because of their behavior either in school or at home. So what I did was I decided to take coaching off of the field and into the homes and into the schools. So I wanted to get involved, find out what's going on, what's the big hang up. And since I had been a troubled student in school myself, I wanted to reach out to them instead of throwing them away as people had threw me away. So I started going into the schools. I started seeing a difference in the grades. I started seeing a difference in their homes. It was at that point that it impacted me to the point that I felt like, you know, this is my passion. This is my destiny. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But yeah, man, I'm just checking on you, make sure everything going. You know, I want to keep in touch with you, got an arm out there, let you know you still got the support, all of them, you know, our support here. And it's good to know you're doing well, man. Hope that thing work out for you with Tyler Perry now.
Growing up on Detroit's east side came with many challenges, but those very challenges are what keeps him grounded and steadfast on helping others who may be going through the same thing.
This is Kenny, the neighborhood in which I grew up on. It was on these streets that me and my friends, we played two-hand touch football in the streets, and in these alleys we played baseball, fast pitch. I had good memories here. But it was also on these streets that I learned how to hustle. It was on these streets that I learned how to fight. It was on these streets that I learned a lot of the negative stuff that catapulted me into some of the avenues that I end up walking down. Kenny has been kind of an oxymoron for me. It's been just as good as it was just as bad. But one thing I'll never forget is that it was Kenny that I got my launch, as in to becoming the man that I am today. I'll never forget this neighborhood.
It wasn't long before the neighborhood and peer pressure began to grab a hold of Charles. Gangs, drugs, and fighting became the norm, leaving him expelled from the Detroit public school system.
One thing you'll learn quickly in the streets is you're not able to do both. You're not able to go to school and sell drugs. So one had to go, and unfortunately, my mentality at the time was that school had to go. This is Lynch Elementary School, or was Lynch Elementary School, school that I went to from kindergarten to 5th grade. I remember in the 4th grade, something very dramatic happened here. Me and a friend of mine were sent to the office. Antoine's mother came. She walked into the office. She was irate and angry. And she told Miss Perdue, I want you to change my son's class because I don't want him around Chuck because he's not going to be anything when he grow up. Very powerful words. Those words stayed with me throughout my life. Miss Perdue then asked Miss to step out of the room and to take her son with her. She looked at me and said 3 times, "Look at me." And when I looked at her, she said, "You can be anything you want. all you have to do is get it together. I never forget that. Those words have stayed with me all these years.
In 1990, Charles went on hiatus from the street life to care for his ailing father along with his siblings. 2 years later, something would happen that would make that hiatus permanent.
92, when he passed of bone cancer, it was as if the lights had come on, and I knew at that point that something had to happen. Change had to take place in my life, and it was from that point on that I began to think differently. This was in 92. 92 was the year my dad died, in April of 92. In August of 92, I met my wife, Elois Thomas.
Elois Thomas, the great woman behind the great man, was instrumental in getting Charles back into school and reaching his full potential.
He seemed to really want an education, but it just seemed like the teachers failed him there. They weren't encouraging enough. I thought I could be that point of encouragement for him, and likewise he was for me. When we first started dating, I had college credits, but not a college degree.
One of her plans was, or agreement was, she would go back if I go back. So I hated school in a nutshell. So, but I wanted her back in there so bad that I went to go back and get my GED, and she was essential in pushing me to go back. And in 95, I did graduate with my GED. Very, very excited, and immediately she pushed me into going into WC3 to start taking some minor classes.
I know he credits a lot of his studies and educational aptitude to me, but it was really him that did the work and actually earned the degrees. But I was glad to be a part of the motivation factor, but he too motivated me to go back first to pursue my studies.
While filming this feature, Charles made a surprise visit to two mentees he hasn't seen in over 10 years.
What's up, my man? How you doing, brother?
Good, what's good?
You got it, you got it. Looking strong, looking strong.
Thank you.
I like it.
I got to go shopping with you, sir.
Oh, yes you do, yes you do.
Yeah.
I was sneaking out the house, taking cars, not doing nothing in school. When I met Mr. Thomas, he came into my life and brought a male presence. And not only did he bring a male presence, but the fact that it came out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, I'm here and I care.
He always put value in our ability as young people to make choices. You know, he really put the ownership on you to explain why you chose to make a decision that you're choosing to make, and really push you to rationalize that. And if you were ever at a point where you weren't able to rationalize that or to make it clear why you were making a choice, then that's when he talked to you and broke it all the way down and explained why that wasn't the way to do something.
That was awesome. I mean, to get a chance to see them and to, hear some old stories of things that I forgot I'd even done in their lives, man, was just, it was breathtaking. It took me back, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to be impactful in the lives of young people like them.
The phrase, "don't quit your day job," was foreign to Charles. It was early on that he learned the benefits of being your own boss.
I couldn't work for someone else because I felt like they had too much power over me. In other words, if you have a bad day, and you come in and I say the wrong thing and now you're firing me because you had a bad day, and now my bills and all of that type of stuff is up for grabs because of you having a bad day. I feel like that's too much power over anyone's life. That's why I've always had to strive to have my own.
As a nonprofit organization, Charles found it to be a taxing process launching Results Mentoring.
What I thought would be a very easy thing was to get finance for, to try and be able to assist with turning around the lives of troubled students, the students that they're throwing away. I thought it would be easy to get financing for that type of thing because people would want to see students helped. It seemed like everyone we went to get money to be able to assist us in assisting these kids required that we had money first before they would give us money.
And so it was a lot of sweat equity put into it just to make sure, because if you don't have the funds to pay people, they're not going to come to work. But we were doing it more as for a passion and to upbuild the company. So we did a lot of time and energy into the company to make sure it was a success.
I'm at the point now that no one can come over me and say, you're fired. I have that comfort and that relief to be able to know that, you know, push comes to shove, I'm the only one that can do that. And I can trust myself with that authority and with that power because I won't abuse it. It also gives me a great comfort that I can be the blessing that I prayed God to make me a blessing. Don't give me a blessing, but make me a blessing so that I'll be able to bless others.
As a preacher, mentor, and proud father, Charles Thomas has been able to effectively relate to young people and consistently change lives.
He's lived that life that a lot of them have, right? And he was able to overcome it because he had the tenacity and the fortitude to do better. And that's all they need. If they have a desire, a program like Results Mentoring can help them to excel.
Through all his success, there's one person Charles would love to have shared it with, and that would be his father.
The one thing that I regretted most is that it happened after he passed. You know, everything exploded in my life after he passed. And I think my father would be floored. I think he'd just be at awe. And then on the other hand, I believe that my father always saw this in me. I just never saw it. So I think he's, you know, like standing there in heaven with his arms folded, shaking his head like, that's it, that's it. So I believe he's proud. I know he's proud. I know he's proud. I know it.